Good evening and welcome to the Saratoga Springs Planning Commission meeting for February 23rd, 2023. I've asked Commissioner Bryce McConkey to lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is a roll call. The only commissioner that's missing this evening is Commissioner Audrey Barton, and she's excused. And at this time, we set aside time for public input. If anyone's here to give public input this evening, now would be the time to do it. So I'm going to close the public input at this time. And we're going to move on to our next item, item number 4, business item, discussion and action on Brixton Park Plat B, preliminary plat located approximately Ensign Road and Foothill Boulevard, 1400 South, 900 West. Denton Whipple and Larry Myler as applicants, and this is going to be presented to us by Gina Grand Prix. So I'll turn the time over to her.
Okay. The application before you tonight is the Brixton Park Plat B. It is located approximately Ensign Drive. You probably don't, I don't know if you remember Ensign Drive. It's the new road they're actually building for Brixton A, which was approved last year. So it's just south of Beacon Point and west of Foothill Boulevard and Brixton A. So this is the property is zoned R36. That was done through the development agreement, annexation and development agreement. And the general plan is low density residential. When the development agreement was approved, the zoning was done for R36, but they will have 3 units per acre. So that's the smallest lot that they'll have. It is 79 acres. I wanted to show you the road access. It is in your staff report. So they are gaining access from Foothill Boulevard across to Ensign Drive and down Prince, and then from Fallow Drive into the subdivision. The Fallow Drive connection to the west side of the Mountain View corridor is a temporary, so that over the Mountain View corridor, that section is going to be temporary. When Foothill Boulevard goes down to Grandview, and the Mountain View corridor comes in, Grandview is going to be interchange. So once the corridor goes through, that will be removed, and then there will be, further south, there will be connections to Grandview. This subdivision is 248 lots. The average size of the lot is 7,142 square feet. They have 11.89 acres of open space. Like I said, 3 units per acre. They have 2 parks. One that is 2.269 acres, and the second one is 2.485 acres. And then they have the trail in the power line easement. So just to go through, I put all of these up here on the presentation to give not only you, but the public view of what is being installed. So you can see that there is the power line corridor that is going to encompass the trail. That is a regional trail on our master plan as well. And then the open space to the east of the power line trail easement is a detention basin. This too, both of these parcels are open space. So you have the one up at the top, which is a detention basin. This detention basin, they've created it big enough, and Dan could probably answer to this. Just below this, on the east side of the boundary and below the detention base, that parcel at the top is the Brixton A detention basin that was approved. So those two parcels are going to have an entire detention basin to help with stormwater for Brixton B and Brixton A. And then the middle one is also a detention basin with a park. The property on the east side, open space parcels are the power line corridor and then, or trail, and then the park is down here in the south west. Future phases they're going to actually add to this park, so it will be bigger. Just showing you the layout of the subdivision. Here's the landscaping. They do have quite a bit of landscaping. They do meet our amenities, and I put this in here just to give you an idea. I don't know how often we actually put these in staff reports. You've seen them a few times, but it's something that we need to get in the habit of showing you. So this is the breakdown of the open space, what's required according to our code, and what amenities are required, the number of amenity points. That's a portion of the code that we dive in as staff quite significantly. But this gives you an idea of that they've met all of these. So there's 248 lots. The equivalent acres required for is 6.2. And then the minimum amenity points is 372. And they are required to have 7.9 acres of space. So with all the calculations, there's a whole section of A amenities, B amenities, C amenities, and P amenities, and they have to have a combination of all of those. So on the checks and balances, you'll see missing A, B, P, or restrooms. That's actually been met with their parking stalls for parking at all of the parks. They actually exceed that. So they have, I can't see it, 405 amenity points when they're only required to have 372. So they exceed the amenity points. I just wanted to give you a look at that because you don't always. Again, just showing the landscaping with the trails and some of these amenities. Again, you'll see the different accesses for trails, the combination of the detention basin, so that's a limited access, but we did ask them to do, because of the road that they had to put in for the detention basin, we all know little kids are going to be riding their bikes in there, so we asked them to put a connection to the trail. To the south, it's too steep, so at least we have one of those connections. And again, just the trail within the power line corridor. And this here is the park. So there will be quite a bit of their amenities come from here. So they have a basketball court, a playground, swing set, pavilion, trail benches along the trails and so forth, as well as their parking. And this here shows, so the dotted line is the boundary of the Brixton B subdivision. And so you'll see the improvements in landscaping that is encompassed on the detention basin parcel. I don't remember what parcel number it is or letter. This is from Brixton A. So they combined those two to create the storm drain detention. And staff recommends approval for this based on our conditions and findings. Any questions?
Thank you, Gina. Is the applicant here with us today?
Yes, we have a representative from Saratoga 262. It's Trey. You can go ahead and come on up and sit so you can answer their questions.
Once you sit down, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Yes, Trey Orsak, Address is 1074 Timber Drive, Lehigh, Utah.
Thank you. I will now turn this over to the Planning Commission for questions and comments. Commissioner Kilgore.
Thank you for complying with all the requirements. It's nice to see an application where just about everything is just comply. It just makes it really easy for us and a lot easier for us. And it just really will appreciate it because it is a lot of work. But you'll be surprised at how many of these applications come with so many non-complies. I mean, a lot of times it's just timing. But anyway, thank you for that. It also looks like it's very well planned out and thought out, the properties, and also thank you for providing more than the necessary amenities as well. I think, at least on the behalf of residents, I think that's terrific. Since this is an administrative process, I always ask if you're, as an applicant, is willing to comply with all the conditions in the staff packet, the city staff packet.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's been good working with staff, and they've been very clear in directing us, and yes, we will comply with staff recommendations.
Okay, terrific. That's actually it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgore. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Commissioner McConkey.
The only comment I have is similar to yours, and it's thorough. I appreciate the thoroughness on the staff side as well. I just left very little. I really have no questions
Yay.
myself, which is kind of rare. So I know, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you. They've been great to work with. Yeah.
Commissioner Burns.
Do we know what the traffic situation will be like with that temporary road? I assume there won't be like a stoplight, or are we expecting there to be?
Not right now. That hasn't necessarily been evaluated, and I don't believe, and Trey and Dan can answer to this, the traffic study, I don't believe, called for one.
That's my recollection as well, as follow drive is what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as far as the traffic impact study that was done, there wasn't a traffic light that was put there.
And what will be happening is, we have Ensign Drive and Fallow Drive, and those attached to Foothill Boulevard that's being constructed. And then in the future, I mean, this is a ways out, but when the freeway comes, that's kind of the Gina was talking about earlier. And then you end up having frontage roads on both sides of the corridor. So that east side, Fallow Drive will connect to the frontage road, just kind of like 2100 North is right now in Lee. And the west side, what we're looking at today, Brixton B and A, that will attach to that other frontage road. And then you'll have the main freeway going down the middle. And the interchange, like Gina said, it will be at Grandview Boulevard in this area. So although it said temporary, they're quite permanent roads for quite a long time. Until that future freeway comes through.
Correct. So the property south of this development is, let me see if I can back up here. So south of that orange is Sitla property, and it's not even annexed into the city yet. They're working on that, and there will be an annexation and agreement and development agreement with that. So eventually that will get developed, and those frontage roads, the freeway, isn't even ready for that, I don't think. So, but we are trying to prepare as a city and plan for that corridor to come in. So these roads will eventually connect, and therefore the reason that they received that temporary with fallow across the corridor. I wish we could look in our crystal ball and get an exact date of when that will happen, but we don't have that data anticipated.
That was all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. I will entertain a motion at this time.
I'll make a motion. Move the Planning Commission forward a recommendation for approval of the proposed preliminary plat for Brixton Park Plat B, located approximately 1400 south, 900 west, with the findings and conditions in the staff report.
We have a motion from Commissioner McConkey. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Commissioner Ryan. Do we have a question on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Planning Commission at 15 minutes, wow.
We had, I think the record is around 11. Yes. Next item is approval of the minutes for February 9th. Anyone have any changes they would like to turn in at this time?
Is there any way that we could put that up on the screen? Mine was so blurry I couldn't read it, and I couldn't email anybody. I don't know why mine was so blurry, but. Just to read my comments. Oh, yeah, if you have the paper, that'd be great. Thank you. That's all I needed. Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any changes you need to make?
No, it looks great. Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes for February 9th.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ryan. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner McConkey, okay. Do we have a question on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Minutes are approved. Commission comments. Seeing how it's Commissioner McConkey's last evening, I will allow him to make any comments he'd like.
Yeah, just want to cry.
Definitely miss you.
That crying from joy that you're not
No, actually, I was telling Troy, I told my coworker that I think I'm going to miss this more than I am my job I'm about to leave. So, and I've been there almost 10 years. It's a fantastic place to be, but just too many conflicts. I just felt so strongly that we just needed to give somebody else an opportunity. That there would be too many nights that I'd have some time conflicts and not be able to serve. So I just think it's in the best interest, as much as I really don't want to leave serving with you guys. It's been amazing. So, and the staff, I really didn't know most of the staff before I started serving as commissioner. I'm really impressed, really impressed. I really appreciate the just the service that you give our community and just the difference that you make. It's exciting to be able to see from this side that the public doesn't really get to see, and I just really, as a citizen, just really appreciate the service, the level of service that all the staff provides. So thank you.
I'll just mention that we will be contacting you to let you know when we have scheduled a city council presentation where we'll give you a plaque and a thank you. So that will be upcoming.
Thanks.
Thanks. Appreciate all your work and efforts.
To comment, and you'll be sorely missed. Your comments always gave me pause to think in a different way. Not that my way is any particularly right or wrong or anything like that, but it always just made me wanted to think in a different way. And you've changed my mind several times, many times actually. I don't always vote that way, but I still realize that, oh yeah, there's always more ways to think, and I just appreciate the fact that, I mean, everyone does that, but, you know, I just wanted to appreciate the fact that you do that a lot for me as well, so just keep doing
Feelings
what you're doing.
mutual. I appreciate
Yeah.
your scrupulous Yeah, just how deeply you look in and consider things. My brain is very scattered, and I don't know how you do it, but you're very good at,
I'll just keep doing what you
you know,
know. Yeah, wherever you go.
thanks.
I wrote you a thank you note so I wouldn't get all emotional.
Thanks, Troy.
I really enjoyed serving with you, and especially when we were working on the city's general plan. And
That was an amazing experience.
it really was. All right, director's report.
Just some reminders, we have Breakfast with Planners coming up on March 16th, so plan for that. We do have, let's see, that's about all we have coming up, right? I don't know if you
Might want to mention down the road, there's a possibility that we might be able to take a couple of you, if you're interested, to the Vernal Spring APA Conference. It's scheduled May 10th through 12th. So if you want to check your calendars and express your interest, we'll have to make sure that our budget can handle it, but I think we might be able to do that, so please let us know.
Was that the one that was held at the movie theater last year?
Yes, so they do one in the fall and the spring of every year, so.
There will be one in the fall, I think it's Ogden. The fall one? Yeah,
I'm
I
not
believe
sure.
the fall conference is in Ogden, so,
Isn't Tippy the president?
yes,
Yes, she is.
yeah,
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's a great opportunity to go learn stuff. So if you can, that's my anniversary, and my wife has said, no political stuff. So I will not be able to go. But I would encourage anybody who can to go. Do we need to go into a closed session this evening?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I just
Go
have one. So with the end of the session thankfully coming up here in a few days, would it be possible at one of our planning commission meetings just to get like a debrief on anything that's, you know, potentially changed, or just to have a heads up on?
Yeah, we will, our city manager, Mark, has been very involved with the legislature. So he is planning on providing that information for the city council, but we'll either have him come or we'll extrapolate from what he's got and.
Just dumb it down for our bunch and to us. But I know there's a lot going on, fairly significant things as well. So I would love to just get a debrief once we finally cross that finish line. That can't come soon enough.
Do we need to go into a closed session this evening?
No.
Will we have a meeting March 9th? We do have stuff on,
Not at this time.
okay,
Unfortunately, I'll be in Kentucky, just as an FYI,
all right.
that day.
So I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting until the next time we meet.
And that's that.
A lot shorter than I expected when I got.
I told my wife,
These have been short.